I ask the Venerable Maha Thera and Thera's Bhikkhu Sangha here for permission to speak and express my warm greetings to the lay people, the devotees who come here this evening, devotees of the Lord Buddha and the Triple Gem, people devoted and inclining your hearts and minds towards the Triple Gem. There's even some very young devotees there. We'll see how she does. So, as well as lots of old devotees in the chairs. There's more and more, every year I come, there's more and more chairs. You know, it's very good. I had my knee problems a few years ago, so I understand now what it's like. So please do sit in chairs, don't hurt your knees sitting on the floor. So I'm also very glad to have been reminded when my last visit was, because I can't remember. So April 2023, that's more than a year and a half ago now. Almost 2 years. So time flies. But it's very nice to come back for another visit to see the Sangha here, especially as last year in March, the beginning of March, many bhikkhus from here came to Daodam Hermitage, except unfortunately I was not there to receive them because my father got sick, so I had to go very quickly to Europe to look after my dad, which is very appropriate business. But it was very nice because Bhante Aradhamika brought the group, and he's been there before, and the group, because we practiced Dhamma Vinaya in the same way. It was very easy for the group to go there and join in and take part in the lifestyle there, and very easy for the monks who were there to receive them and look after them. And so we have a very nice connection. So it's nice we kind of visit each other. And then for the Vasa, previously, 2023, and there were some bhikkhus from here, resident in Wat Pananachat, where I was spending that Vasa. Bhante, who was there, Paladhammika and Vimutta Dhammika, these two, and Pamoda Dhammika nearby. So we had lots of Dhammikas in Ubon. So the family, the children, the kids were there. I'm very happy to look after them. And so it's a very nice exchange, isn't it? So a big Sangha family, Dharma family. And it's the same. Coming here, you feel the Dhamma family with the lay community here. Whether it's, I stopped at VBG, many of you know, in Tomo, just south of Ipoh. And the bhikkhu there, resident there, Ajahn, Siripanyo, I know him very well. And the lay devotees, it's like a big family. You can drive from KL, stop in Timor, and then come here, go to Bukit Mattajam in a few days, visit the relatives, the younger brothers, the older brothers, or the Lungpos, we call them the Lungpos, the venerable fathers, the old bhikkhus. And so you feel very happy wherever you go. Very nice. In the morning, you go to the market, you get your mee goreng. It's very nice. Free as well. So, our life is very lucky, very nice, very happy to come back every time and visit. And so, obviously, this is New Year period. We're a few years into the New Year. And so, it's important then for us all to think about things, about our lives. Actually, we really should be thinking about our lives every day anyway. Not getting heavy or stressed, but just thinking, how is it going? Just like you think about your food every day, right? What do I want to eat? How is it going? Is it tasty? Is it good? Everybody thinks about that. So think about our lives as well. Our lives, our karma, our actions, are our karma good? So we're 5 days into the new year. And so before the new year, usually it's a good time to think. It's too late now if you missed it, but maybe and in December, at the end of the year, you can, in December, start thinking about what's happened. Chinese New Year. Oh, Chinese New Year coming up. Yeah, of course, that's good. Thank you, yeah, very good. So, end of January. So if you missed the international New Year, of course, got Chinese New Year coming up, end of January. So think very carefully. It's not just about family and ang paos and more food. It's about reflecting on life, the passing, and our lives, because, that's really the important thing. We're here living life. everything we do, we say, what are you doing? I'm doing this, I'm doing that, and then the material world, even family. But it's all about life. And so this experience of life is the thing, it's the project which we are all dealing with. And it's the one which really we should be thinking, how do I get this right? How do I make a success of this project? Or what is success mean of this life? And so it's the time to think. Now, of course, the material world, the family is important. For most people, success means having a good marriage, looking after your parents when they're old somehow, and then having children and then grandchildren and seeing them through, and then being a good, widening the circle a bit, so being a good member of your team at work, in the community, these kind of things, right? So for most of us, the basics, and it's very important. It's not that sometimes, when we talk about Dhamma and especially meditation, we always talk about inner happiness and don't worry about the material world and let go. And it's true. But at the same time, before we let go, or before we can stop worrying about the material world, we have to have the basics in place. It doesn't mean neglect or ignore it. We have to look after it first and then let go of you could say, the attachment to it, and also let it go according to karma or according to cause and conditions. But we still do the best, right? So family. So this New Year time, thinking about, but what makes family good, what makes work life good, what makes your financial situation good, is the karma you do. Karma means actions. Yeah, so as we approach Chinese New Year, then if we missed the 1st of January, didn't think in time, think about the previous year gone by. What has karma have we done? What good karma have we done? Meaning what good actions? Body, speech, mind. This is the way we do our actions. How do you act with body, speech and mind? The mental actions also important. Our thoughts, the way we think, the kind of thoughts we cultivate. And then the things which we think are good, are useful, beneficial, then we know that. We say, yes, good, sadhu, sadhu. It is good, it is well, these things are good. The things we said which are kind and useful, beneficial, then we speak in that way more. And the things which were not good, the actions, the speech, we have to let it go. We have to let it go and change those things. It's a bit difficult to change ourselves or change our habits, because that is the meaning of habit. Habit is something you do habitually again and again, and your habits become we call them dependencies. You depend on those things, and then it's difficult to change. Then they become your addiction. So we're addicted, we're stuck to those things which we do again and again. We do them automatically, we don't even think about it. So to consciously reflect and then think about making changes and then making those changes, it's not easy, but it certainly can be done. Certainly it's something which all of us can do. And this was the Buddha's message, very, very clear. The simple message of kamma, kamma sakomi, kamma dayado, kamma yoni. I am the owner of my action, heir to my action, born of my action. And of teaching around intention, that we have the power to have intention. It's like choice, choosing. What do you choose to do? Do you choose this or that? We have this choice, this capacity to choose in our lives with our intentions. And this is the heart of the Buddha's teachings. So I know when I come and give a talk now, this is all I really like to talk about, because this is the heart of our life. This is what guides our life. It's like the steering, the driver in our life, are these choices we make. And of course, we have influence from other people. It can be, if it's Dharma, we talk about the monks giving teachings. Now there's teachings online, the Buddha's teachings, or our teacher Ajahn or Bhante Hai, any of the teachers you listen to, Bhante Agachita. These are all helping you make your own informed choices, so giving you information, so you can make informed choices. You can choose, do I do this or do I do that? And you experiment. Then sometimes it works, it goes well, this is a good choice, you do it again. So we slowly bring our life in line with the Dhamma. So very, very simple, our route, our journey towards happiness. So New Year, any New Year is a good time. Actually in Dhamma and Buddhism we have many like New Years. Chinese New Year, and then there's Vesak. You can also reflect again, Visakha Puja, and then the start of the rains retreat, and then the after rains retreat there's Katina, you can think again, or then there's the, in Malaysia we celebrate Deepavali as well, so you can think about that once a year. So every occasion is a chance to make a fresh start. And then it's Christmas, New Year again, so no excuses for not thinking back all the time. So we didn't undertake the precepts just now, but you all know what they are, the 5 precepts. And these are the basic, very important building blocks for leading a good life. And it's something to see, you say, for yourselves, for ourselves, each of us individually, why these are the basic building blocks. Not killing, stealing, lying, and being faithful with your sexual relationships, and looking after your mind with non-drinking and drug-taking. As we grow older, usually we see very clearly because we have this experience. Like we've learned what's right, what's wrong. Like you learn as a child what's hot. You don't touch those things which are hot again. You get burnt. Some of us, we have to get burnt quite a few times. But that's just normal. It's normal. But then finally, usually we get it. So the precepts, I don't have to repeat it too much or talk about it. But right speech also. This morning somebody asked me, Bhante, what is right speech? Well, it's very clear. It's wonderful that we have such a clear frame of reference. We don't have to think, right speech, maybe this, that. The Buddha is very clear, 4 things, starting with musawada veramani, and then non-divisive speech is called pisunaya vajaya veramani, to avoid dividing 2 people. So in the world we call it gossip, tale-bearing, backbiting. And then also harsh speech, harsh or nasty or just hurtful or coarse speech. Parusaya means harsh, shouting, angry, swear words, something which hurts, hurts the ears and the heart of the listener. And number 4, very difficult, sampapalapa veramani. Sampapalapa means, like it sounds, it means like babbling speech, like we call it frivolous speech or pointless speech, useless speech lah, lousy lah, time wasting. Now this is a big area in our lives. It doesn't mean you never say, hi, how you doing, and talk about the weather. We have to have that a little bit. Ask about the kids, ask about this, and a little bit chit-chat. You like football, talk to your friends about the football. It's just normal. Cooking, this, but keeping it just right, not too much. And making sure that it's not speech which is somehow, too worldly or confusing or not beneficial. So obviously now you have to be careful with your phones, speech on the telephone, all these social media things. So this is important basics, again, ABC of our lives. Very, very simple. How do we do this? So you can think, over the year, how has your speech been? Maybe you have a particular thing, often husbands and wives. Why is it the people you love most is the most difficult to talk to? Partly because you're together all the time, so you spend all the time together. But husbands and wives, children with your parents with children, and then the people at your workplace. It just gets very tense. It gets stressful sometimes because you've got financial issues, difference of opinions, very easy to get into an argument. So be careful in these areas. Remember, the people you live with, you love most, they're the people who you can hurt most. And now, these days, people also live very old. So some of you are 60, 70, and still looking after your parents in your 90s. So this relationship with your parents is very, very long-term, long-lasting. And the speech is the thing which is how we, usually relate. So this right speech, I think is very important. Being very careful. And now with children as well, children very sensitive. As parents, you have to teach them, train them, give them advice. But you can't be too strict anymore. It's not like the old days, you can't scold them like the old days. So you have to decide, how do you talk to children or train them and develop right speech in the house, teach them about right speech so that they have good examples. And amongst your friends, now these days you're always arguing, people are very arguing about politics and all these kind of things. It's not worth it, just be very, very careful, right speech. So body, speech, precept, speech, and then of course the mind, your actions, your karma with the mind. Just being very careful, what do you think? Actually the mind is when you see, when you hear, when you smell, when you taste, when you touch. It's also part of the mind. But your decisions, what do you look at? What do you listen to? What do you smell? These are, the mind is really making the decisions. Your eyes are just the organs you see with. So we have to learn to ask ourselves with our mind, what's right, what's wrong, what's good, what's bad. And in Buddhism, it's very simple. The things which are good or right are those things which make us happy. We keep happy, make us happy, make other people happy. That's our definition. We don't have it from God or from, and even the Buddha, he doesn't have instructions for every day, for every decision, for every choice. You can't ask the Buddha. So we have to all learn to decide for ourselves. So being very careful with our mind, we call it mental restraint, keeping it protected with our thoughts, learning to train our mind to be kind, to be loving, full of loving kindness is a good way to train the mind. Having compassion, understanding other people, being able to listen. This comes from the mind. You don't listen with your ears, you listen with your mind. I'll share this to you. I made a New Year resolution, determination. My adhitthana this year was to become a better listener. This idea of listening, like real listening, deep listening, means when you listen to somebody, sometimes you understand the words they're saying, but really the feeling, the message is something different. And also not speaking so much in the conversation and trying to listen, to let them, and really understanding first what they are saying, really what these people are saying. It's often monks, but also lay people. And sometimes somebody, especially monks, people come to you, they ask you for advice. Bhante, I need some advice, this problem. And then you listen, and then they talk. You just listen. They just talk some more, and you go, yeah, oh, yeah. And then they talk. And then you say, yeah, well. And then afterwards they say, wow, thank you, Bhante. I feel so much better. And you maybe say one small thing, such good advice. Actually, they just want you to listen. And it's maybe the same with your husband and wife. Maybe sometimes you just listen and really see, and you don't need to say so much. So, monks, we get used to talking a lot. And, I want to be a better listener. But then also, if you learn to listen to other people, it becomes a habit. You have to listen to your own heart, as they say. What do you really want? What are your needs? Because it's very difficult sometimes for us to, for example, to give yourself a break. Sometimes you're getting sick. You can feel it in the evening. You're cold, you're a little bit throat, you're not feeling so good, or you're tired. I'm really tired. But the next day you've got something to do. And really it'd be better to just cancel. Or this evening got some dinner, you got so many relatives, somebody's birthday, wedding, funeral, something, there's always something going on. And you don't need to go every time. Listen to yourself. Do you need all of this stuff? Sometimes it's good to say no. Less is more. So you have to listen to yourself. It's a real skill. It's something very difficult to do because we always feel obligated to do things. We should do this, I should do that. And you don't want to show that you're somehow basically weak or vulnerable. I can't come, I'm not feeling well enough, I need a break. And so this is a real skill, learning to really listen or to see the signs, watch for the signs that are not so obvious. So really listening. And now, we are in sitting in TIMS, the Taiping Insight Meditation Society. So we should think about meditation as well, all of you. I'm sure interested in meditation, you want to practice, you do practice, hopefully. And New Year is also a good time. It's a good time to think about meditation. Think about last year, how much meditation did you do? Most of you maybe practice breathing, in and out breathing, mindfulness of breathing. And this is very, very simple, isn't it? So today is the 5th of January. So how many breaths, have you been mindful of in 2025 so far? How many have you caught? How many have you missed? It's a very easy calculation. We breathe roughly 15 times a minute. Can be less if you're fit, can be a bit more, but 15 is a good average, 12 to 18. So that means in every hour there's quite a few hundred. Yeah. So every day there's quite a few thousand, maybe 20,000. And then so 5th of January you've had about 100,000 in and out breaths. So you can ask yourself, so how many was I aware of so far? How many did I have mindfulness? Each of those breaths. So breathing in, breathing out. Okay, of course you're asleep, So okay, out of 100,000, 50,000 say you're asleep or doing something busy. You've got 50,000. So, it's a nice way to think. Okay, every day there's a lot. Each one is a chance. Imagine you were going to get like 1 ringgit per breath. Somebody said, okay, this year I'll give you 1 ringgit per breath. Yeah, by the 5th of January, how much ringgit? You have a lot by now. But because there's no reward, instant reward like that for mindfulness. The reward is the long-term reward, and it's not a material one, it's the happiness. So, of course, it's not a priority. And that's okay, that's normal. We live in the material world. We need the food, we need the requisites, houses, clothing. So basically in life you need money, you need the requisites. And we live with our family, and that's active, we're doing stuff. So it's normal then that in a way is our priority. But at least this year we make the mental happiness and the mindfulness become more in balance, where we know really, actually, no matter how much or how well we're doing in the material world, if we're not happy inside, then we can't really enjoy it. Because enjoying your material life is a mental experience. It's not a physical one. You don't really even feel with your hand or see things with your eyes. It's the mind that experiences that physical contact or that sight. So you see your grandchildren with your mind, with your heart. You experience success in life with your mind. You experience even the taste of good food. When you get really nice food, it's a mental experience, actually. The tongue helps, of course. So the mind, the better the mind is. So if you understand then that this mindfulness, in a way, will enrich your experience of the material realm, it's actually important, as well as all the other benefits on the emotional, spiritual level as well, the inner happiness we're talking about that comes really from within, but it helps with your material happiness, your sensual happiness as well. So breathing in, breathing out, this very, very simple thing which we do right from the beginning, right from the time you're born, right? Until you die, we say until your last breath. Till the last breath is a synonym, it's a way of saying when you die. So it's absolutely bound up with life itself. The breathing and life and your experience of life and your experience of the breathing and the amount to which you can be mindful. So of course you can't do it all the time, like mindfulness of breathing when you're talking and doing your job and doing your work, and it's not possible. But at least in your free time, when you can, you just try this year. You can say, I just really try to practice, to learn how to just sit quietly. You don't even have to close your eyes or do like this. Just sitting in the chair when you're anywhere, just, And you can breathe in deep as well. Sometimes we breathe naturally when we meditate, but sometimes it's nice to, when we say to connect, to really feel it. Just really breathe in, you hold a little bit, breathe out. It feels good straight away. You feel this nice tingling down your arms. Just kind of relax. So it's a very good thing, and this new year, to think about it, to think, okay, every day think about just catching your breaths, and then maybe you really do sit, maybe sometimes 10, 15, 20 minutes, sit down, morning or evening, or you come to Tim's, or you come to SBS, or you go on a retreat, whatever. And then you have more time. It's structured. You don't have to work, you don't have to talk, you don't have to worry about your family. So that's even better. But not everybody can do that. Right? So the Buddha was really, I think, really good at teaching us about mindfulness in our daily life, in all postures. Not just the 4 postures, but he taught like bending, flexing, for monks, putting on your bowl and robes. For you, it's putting on your clothes, eating, chewing, tasting, swallowing. Just in your daily life, really be with it. What does this really taste like? What is this? Just to be with it. And that's something we can all do. You can definitely do that, because it's not difficult, is it? And if I said, look, can you do that? Can you breathe with your breath? Breathe in, breathe out. It's not difficult, is it? Really. But somehow, I don't know why, it is difficult to really do it. So it is a training, but also beginning with the mind that understands that this is a priority, this is really important. This is, make it as important as the material search, this wanting, this wish for mindfulness, for presence. And also it comes when we keep our lives simple. Keep it simple. If there's one mantra or motto or slogan, which I think we try to do as monks, that's the whole point why we become monks. We simplify life a lot, with no family, no business, no political involvement, no these things. But still life gets complicated, and we have to deal with the world. We have to deal with passports and visas and sickness and building and committees. But we try to keep it to the minimum. Whatever we do at minimum, and not to complicate things, and not to get into trouble with lying and cheating, of course. So it's the same in the lay life. Just keep it simple, beginning with the material world, but also your speech, with your social media, all this stuff, and then your activities. And then you will be able to, because mindfulness begins there, then when you come to meditate, then the mind is more peaceful, then it will be easier. You breathe in, breathe out. Very nice. Quite simple, really, isn't it? Not difficult. The instructions, can you do that? Can you breathe in? 1. Breathe out. 1. Breathe in. 2. Breathe out. 2. It's not complicated. So we have to practice again and again and again. And so this is just a small part, of the Buddha's teachings. The Buddha taught 2,500 years ago. That's a really long time. And you think of all the changes in the world, all the empires that have come and gone, all the wars that have been fought, all the people that have been born and died, and the languages that have come and gone, civilizations. And all that time there were Buddhist monks and nuns and lay people just quietly practicing, keeping this lineage or tradition or religion going, practicing mindfulness. And it's still here, we're still doing it, and it's completely universal. Everyone around the world can understand it, can practice it. It's very simple, very immediate, very direct. The teachings really are here. When we say sanditiko, opanayiko, pachatang, veditabo, it really means you can see it, you can experience it, it's here for yourself. And the monks, we're not able to do it for you or give you the blessings or give you some special transmission. I don't know. I can't anyway. Maybe the others can, but I can't. I don't think we can. We can give you the instructions, we can give you the advice, we can give you the support. Even just sitting quietly, just help you like that, be an example. That's why the Buddha said, sammana nancha dasanang etang mangalamutamang. The sight of a samana, the sight of a monk or a nun is a blessing, because you see them and then it's like you reflect back, oh yeah, we can do this. But really the blessing, the teachings, come from yourselves. And it all depends on the extent to which you put the effort. Just like everything in life. Like with the kids at school, it depends on their effort. The teacher can teach them, the parents can help them, the friends as well, they can do group projects. But each child gets the results a lot based on their own effort and energy. So this Buddhism, this teaching, this Dhamma is all about our own efforts. And so some people think, other religions give you a bit of help from God, help from the deities, help from the Brahmins. But really, actually, it's good news that we put forth effort ourselves, because then we are the ones who can really decide for ourselves. In life, that's our experience, We know we have to do it ourselves. When you eat, feed yourself. You don't feed your family. You can give them the food, but they have to eat for themselves. When you sleep, you only sleep for yourself, And so it makes sense that when it comes to Dharma, it's for yourself. When you do yoga, it's for yourself. And you have to do the practice. Some people, they say, yeah, this yoga, fantastic, I love it, so good. And I say, how much do you do? Actually, not much. But I really believe in it. You see, people really believe in religions, but you have to actually practice it. It's not enough to believe in it in that way. So it's very simple, kind of New Year message for you. Keep the precepts, understand what's wholesome and unwholesome, right speech, training in right speech in your family life. Be very careful with your loved ones. The Buddha he called right speech, or speech which is pleasing and goes to the heart. And he meant goes to the heart in a nice way, not goes to the heart like a knife, Some people, the Buddha said, not stabbing each other with verbal daggers. We all know what that means. We all know what that feels like, and I'm sure we've done that a bit in the past with our, we say, sharp tongue, very quick speech. Be very, very careful. And then you have time, especially lots of senior citizens, with all your free time now in happy retirement or not so stressed, As we've been talking, I don't know how many breaths have come and gone already, But it's about, you could say, maybe like 20,000 a day. That's a lot. In your whole life, it's, many 100 million. So that's just a kind of an example or something to think about, that this is valuable. But there's not 1 ringgit per breath, because it's really got to come from inside, and it's got to be done for free, and with the feeling that this is important just for its own sake, for the sake of mindfulness, and then for the sake of the happiness that comes from that. This teaching of the Buddha, he said it's all about happiness. He put it in the language of dukkha, or suffering. He said, I teach only one thing in the past, and now I teach merely dukkha, suffering, and the ending of dukkha. You have to fully understand the suffering in order to know what it is, and then how it arises, abandon the causes, and realize the end. So the doctor understands the disease, knows the causes, knows that it can be cured, and then the doctor gives you the medicine, and then you take the medicine. It's the same with the Buddha's teachings. So it's all about how to be free from dukkha. When you're free from dukkha, you're happy. And it's a journey, step by step, bit by bit. So now that, most of us are a bit older, we don't have to worry too much about things we used to worry about when we were younger. And we can let go a bit. You've got children, let go of your children, don't worry about them. They're growing up as well. They've got their lives, you've got your lives. And parents, your elderly parents, you look after your parents. But they have to go their own way, based on aging, sickness and death, Don't hold on to them forever. And now a lot of people asking me, and I've been thinking about it. My father passed away last month. And many people, your parents passed away. You like to share merits. People say, well, what can you do for our parents? I think not very much. Just share the merits, because they've gone their own way. No one knows really, where they've gone, how it is it good or bad? Yeah, the law, if you like, the heart of Buddhism is kamma sakomi, kamma dayado, kamma yoni, kamma bantu. We are responsible for our own karma. So of course it's nice to share merits. We do the short chant. More than that, what can you do really? Not much really, and you don't really know where they are and do they get the merits and not get the merits. There's so much discussion and confusion and wondering. So I just think, don't think too much about it. Just share the merits with them, wherever you are, be well, be happy. I'm doing this wholesome action, I share this with you and all sentient beings. And then don't worry about it, let go. Yeah. That's their business. So again, keeping it simple. Yeah, not overthinking too much. The very simple principle is if you do good, you get good results. You do, unwholesome things, you get the unwholesome results. It seems to be that the Buddha really understood how to present the teachings in a very practical way. Whether you're layman, laywoman, old, young, bhikkhu, nun, it's the same principle. But of course, it goes on and on and on. You do it again. You do it again. You understand more and more each day. So I think that's all I really want to say. Nothing really special. Just wish everybody a Happy New Year. And have a Happy New Year means wish you all a mindful New Year, mindful 2025. Or a sila-ful, a year with lots of sila or precepts. Really with virtue, and a happy 2025. That's all we can really hope for, isn't it? That's really what we all want. So I think I'll end there. And then anybody want to ask some questions, you can ask a few questions.